Off of his, what I would say, very successful promotional tour in Toronto. Michael Bisping, how are you feeling, my friend? I'm assuming a little bit tired.
Yeah, that is right. It was actually Toronto and then Montreal. So I trained Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday up to Toronto. Got in late Thursday night with the time difference. Friday morning, had a press conference at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I did my usual thing. I had a bit of fun with George St. Pierre, and he actually tried talking a bit of shit back. I thought it went down well. It was pretty funny. There was a nice crowd of journalists there, and it was open to a few members of the public. But yeah, no, it went good. George talked a little bit of shit back. I think I did a good job of getting under his skin, and then from there we went, did the rounds, did some TV stations. And then the same thing in Montreal on Friday. Saturday, Saturday, then we went to a hockey game, walked out onto the ice at a hockey game in Montreal. And obviously, him being a Montreal hero, got a massive applause, and I got a massive boo, which was good. I enjoyed that. And then flew home yesterday, got in late at night, out of bed, straight to training. Well, ran this morning, then straight to sparring. So, yeah, a little tired, Lewis, but nothing a good nap won't fix.
Yeah. I watched a bunch of I was in Florida for the weekend doing comedy, and I watched a bunch of the highlights, and you had some pretty incredible moments when you're going to first knock out George St. Pierre, then you're going to knock out everybody in Toronto one by one.
Oh, did I say that?
Yes, that's what MMA fighting quoted you. I'm going to get to this. Is incredible. It's one of my favorite quotes I've ever read in my entire life. Oh, God.
See, this is the thing. I have no recollection of that whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, I remember having some fun with the crowd and certainly having some fun with GSP. I don't recall threatening to knock out everybody in Toronto one by one.
Yeah, this is going to be, there we go. Fuck you, Toronto. I'll knock him out, and then I'll knock all of you out one by one.
Oh, yeah. Well, the things you say when you got a microphone in your hand, probably not the best time to go off on a tangent. But how anyone that listens to this podcast know that's what I do. Go on.
How aggressive were the crowds towards you? Because I heard them booing you at one point. You're and you were really working them up. You don't mind being the heel. You're just kind of relishing in the crowd getting excited and giving a reaction, and that energy and that excitement in that moment, no matter what you want to say, love you or hate you, is a much more memorable moment than 99% of the press conferences that we watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, at the end of the day, if I'm going into Toronto, I'm walking into hostile territory, or Montreal, it doesn't matter. They're going to cheer for George St. Pierre, and I expect that 100%. And I guess I guess maybe at my core, I am kind of an entertainer because I respect George. Of course I do. And has this turned into quite the rivalry? Yeah, it has, 100%. And I stand by those things I said in the moment. I do. Listen, I wish him the best and I respect him, but we're going to fight. So until that fight is done, he can kiss my ass. And if they're going to boo, then I'm going to give you something to boo for, So some of the crowd, they were jeering. They weren't allowing me to talk. So that's probably when that comment came out.
Yeah.
What would you do, Lewis? You stood there and, you're trying to talk and a bunch of assholes are just going, shut up, boo, boo, all this. I'm like, kiss my ass,
I have no backbone. I would pander. I would start naming great things about Canada and what I loved about the country. But that's why I'm not a UFC champion. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, no, I was on a TV station later that day, and they said, well, Michael, you're on Canadian soil, and this is on a Canadian TV channel. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm on British soil. He's like, no, you're in Canada. I said, yeah, which is part of the Commonwealth. We overtook it. You've got the Queen on your money. I said, I'm on British soil, so don't worry about it. And they were like, whoa. So again, do I really believe that? No, of course I don't. I'm just having a bit of fun.
You're trying to get in his head.
Say again?
You're just trying to get in his head,
No, I'm just trying to be controversial and just have a laugh. You know what I'm saying? Just take away anything. I don't know. I'm just trying to get through my day. I'm not thinking about it too much. Well, listen, we're going to fight, So, and people think, because a lot of people, like, for example, last week I went and did some... did I talk about this last week? A guy said to me, what gives you the right to speak to George St. Pierre that way? Did we talk about this last week?
I don't know.
It was last Sunday.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I went into a jiu-jitsu gym and someone said, "Oh, what gives you the right to speak to George St. Pierre that way?" I'm like, "Well, hold on a minute. Listen, first and foremost, pal, we're going to fight. He's going to try and knock me out unconscious in front of the world or try and choke me out. So anything I say really is secondary to that. And again, you know, I've definitely spoke about this. When you're saying these things, you're just trying to get your opponent to doubt themselves. You know what I mean? You're trying to get them to not perform as well as they could. Now, will some of it do that? Maybe. Will some of it go over the top? Yeah. Will some of it piss people off? Yeah, sure, whatever. But it is who I am, and we're gonna fight, and I'm bloody enjoying myself as well.
One of the things you pointed out, and maybe this is a real thing, or maybe this is you just trying to get in his head a little bit more, is you said when he's nervous or questioning himself, he pushes his tongue into the side of his mouth.
Yeah.
Is this like a real fucking tell, dude? You're pulling out the big psychological warfare right now.
I swear to God. Every time I see him, like in Las Vegas, I noticed it. Obviously I've watched it back, and when we're talking and when we squared up in Las Vegas, he sticks his tongue into like the side of his gum, and you can see it like bulging out. Kind of like if like someone's getting a fake blowjob or something, you know.
Right, I got
it. So I noticed he does that, and then when we were there in Toronto, he was doing it again. So I said, "Oh, look at that!" I said, "There's the tongue, George. Every time I piss you off, you do that." And then when we squared up, I went to point at it, and I didn't touch him, but I said, "There it is. There's the tongue again." Because you know when sometimes it's an involuntary thing. You know, like if I'm concentrating. I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people do this. If I'm really focusing on something, my wife notices that I kind of shake my jaw a little bit side to side. Do you ever do that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like grind your teeth?
No, not grind. If my mouth's open and it kind of goes side to side if I'm concentrating. She's like, "Look at you, Michael. Your jaw's going again." It's just an involuntary thing that I do, and this is obviously something that George does when he's pissed off. So I said, "Oh, look, there is the tongue again. The little lizard tongue." And as I pointed to him, poof, that's when he went to flick my hand out of the way, but he missed and kind of flicked me in the face. You know, so
yeah.
We had a little moment there, which was kind of real because, as I say, he kind of flicked me in the face.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. There's been a couple times now where you guys have had these little physical exchanges. He gave you a little shot to the gut. Then you guys had another thing where there was a bunch of PR people kind of like holding you guys back, outside. You guys were talking shit. Then there was this thing. I've never seen George St. Pierre get physical leading up to a fight. Nick Diaz was the one guy that seemed to kind of get in his head. You saw George getting flustered and didn't really know how to handle Nick Diaz's shit talking. I almost feel like you're using a different technique. You just keep on coming at George. And George is getting pissed off to the point where he's saying, "Fuck it, dude, I want to throw down with this guy, not just go out and, apply my game plan." Is there any part of you that wants to make him fight, and that's part of your strategy going into this, or are you just having fun? Or is this all just fucking just promoting the fight?
No. For me, honestly, I would love to say that there's some big, grand plan and a strategy to what I'm doing. There isn't. I'm not that cerebral, I guess. We're gonna fight, so that's my enemy. So I'm just trying to pick at him. I'm just trying to piss him off. I'm trying to, get him mad. I'm trying to do whatever. I'm fucking with him. I'm messing with him psychologically. I'm big brothering him. I'm letting him know I'm not scared. You're secondary to me. I'm gonna win this fight. I'm the alpha male, the big brother, however you want to call it. That's what I'm trying to do. And he's trying to do it back. But he's losing. I'm just having fun. I'm just literally just busting his balls, trying to belittle him. Of course, everyone that isn't a fan of mine that listening to this, well, it's gonna bite you in the ass on the night of the fight. Is it? I guess we're going to find out, but I've got the confidence to go out there and put it on the line and say these things. I remember Demetrius Johnson, and I think this is one of the problems with Demetrius Johnson. I remember I was fighting CB Dalloway. He was fighting Joseph Benavidez, I believe. And we did no. He was fighting, who cares? One of the many, many flyweights that he's beaten. Kyoji Hariguchi, I believe. He was fighting him, and he wouldn't tell the journalist that he thought he was going to win. He wouldn't go out on a limb and say, "I'm going to beat this guy." And I said, "Demetrius," I said, "you've got to say that." He said, "Yeah, but what if I don't win? Then I look stupid." I said, "Well, I guess that's the gamble that you got to take."
Yeah.
I'm confident enough to say this. If I lose, of course, Of course, it's going to bite me in the ass and I'm going to look a little foolish, but not half as foolish as I'm going to look in the octagon getting my face filled in. So I've got to believe it. I truly believe. And the fact that he wouldn't do that, I'm like, well,